Welcome back, everyone, to the program portion of today. First, we'll have guests. Rita, will you please give us our guests?
Good afternoon, everyone. Guests, when I call your name, please stand so we can give you a warm Kiwanis welcome. We have 3 guests today. Robert Rich, guest of Sharon Barhouse. Misty Rich, guest of Sharon. And Camille Seabrook, also guest of Sharon. Thank you all for attending today and welcome.
Thank you, Rita. John, do you have a foundation update you'd like to provide us?
Yep. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Like Neil, I'm pleased to lead the foundation for the club. Unlike Neil, I'm stuck in the position for a while longer, so nobody's really given me that exact term. But the last time I accepted a term without knowing what the term was, it was about 9 years ago, and I'm still in that position. So I have a habit of doing that. But your foundation is in excellent condition. We're making a transition now from 3 outgoing board members who have done an absolutely phenomenal job with us, and just would like to thank and recognize Sharon Barhorst, doing a great job. Janene Amick, who did a great job with us. And then John Tucker. I think John's here, right? Yep. John, thank you so much for your service. We really appreciate it. We have great members on the foundation board, and looking forward to continuing to roll up our sleeves and work with the club leadership, because that's what the foundation is all about, is to support the Kiwanis Club of Bradenton. We're a Type 1 supporting organization, for those of you that don't know, and our sole mission is to support the club. So we're always looking for ways to do that. We're always looking for how we can best accomplish that and to move the mission of the club forward. Right now, as of the end of as of September 8th, the financial update was we have $11,823,000 in the corpus of the foundation. That's including all sources, and that's after we made the $500,000 distribution to the club. So we're in really good shape, and we feel good about kind of the pivot to a new financial manager for us in Bank of America. They did an excellent job getting everything transferred over and setting up the new accounts and portfolios within how they're going to invest it. So we've got a lot of good investment knowledge on the board itself, and we're monitoring them closely. But they're doing a really good job, and we're pleased to have them on board. So that's a little bit of a foundation update. We'll be back to you just in a few weeks with our annual report, which will be a little bit more in depth than this. But we just wanted to give you a quick update. So thank you very much.
All right, up next we'll have Christy Haley with some community service updates. In the meantime, the club board meeting, my last one, will be next Wednesday, September 20th at noon at Fusilli's. So board members and committee members, please be there.
Thank you, Neil. I'm speaking on behalf of Mike Bear, who of course couldn't be here today, for community service. Our first one, and it's all in the newsletter, there's even a QR code which I pulled up. This weekend, we are doing or helping with a cleanup of the beaches. The super cool thing is you can win money on this one. Didn't know that, but they are weighing in all the trash you pick up. And the biggest trash gets cash. So I think that sounds like a lot of fun. Check it out. In the Kiwanis newsletter is the best place to find the information. Pull up the QR code, sign up. It is a 2-day event, but there's free food and lots of prizes, and there's prizes for like the oddest thing you find. So I think for kids, that might be really fun. See the craziest item you can find that's trash. Number 2, and I apologize already because we do not have the exact timing on this because the American Red Cross is obviously still dealing with hurricane issues and they're not giving me timely responses on the time of day. However, October 14th, our club is sponsoring a put-in fire alarms for some areas in Bradenton that really need some fire alarms and safety. We are partnering with the American Red Cross. They will go out the week prior and knock on doors and make sure of the people who need the fire alarms. And so we will not be just going to random homes. We will be going to homes where the people are expecting us. We'll also be giving them some fire safety. The American Red Cross will give us all of the training that morning. They will provide wagons. They will provide all supplies. We just have to show up and provide support. However, we need about 15 people minimum to sign up for this event, and we must sign up by October 10th. So if y'all could put the October 10th deadline on your calendar, but definitely put October 14th. I'm assuming it put on your calendar like 9 to 2, but we don't have the exact timing right now, and I apologize for that. I have reached out to them. And then finally, October 31st, we will be doing hands-only CPR. So the American Red Cross will be coming and speaking at the luncheon, and then we will follow that with hands-only CPR. If you're interested in that also, please check with the newsletter and sign up on our website. And I'm sorry, one last thing. Boys and Girls Club, we are helping with their Christmas tree lot as usual, and that's going to kick off Thanksgiving weekend. We'll have signups coming soon for that. If y'all have any other ideas for community service that will really impact the children of Manatee County, and especially Bradenton, please let us know and we'll do some research. Yes?
Why is it important that we sign up by October the 10th? What will happen if we don't have 16 people?
If we don't have enough people, they will cancel this event. So yes, please sign up for that. This is something that we are taking on individually. We're not joining a bigger group. So we don't want them going and knocking on doors and trying to find out where the fire alarms need to be installed if there's not enough people to go install those fire alarms. So please spread the word. We're also checking to see if children are able to come with you. So that is, the questions are timing, and children will have that information as soon as possible. Is that good? All right. Thank you. And Jay is also on the committee. I don't wave, so he didn't want to come up and join me today, but maybe next week.
Thank you, Christy. I'm sure Kelly heard that she wants more participation because we'll be there. We'll help you, Kelly. We'll ring. We always do. All right, today's program, the speaker needs no introduction.
No, but she definitely needs a step stool. So,
Just bring them down.
okay. Sorry, Charles.
Is this your way of asking for a new podium?
Yes. So those of you in the audience who may not know who I am, my name is Janene Amick. I have officially changed my title here at Manatee Performing Arts Center to Chief Cheerleader and CEO. Mr. Charlie Hackney, that will cost you, both from the foundation as well as the Performing Arts Center. So it's my pleasure today to share with you guys our exciting news that the Performing Arts Center, as a thespian troupe of volunteer actors, is celebrating next month 75 years in Manatee County. And you may be unaware that it really goes back to partnerships that we had with members of this club, both as individuals who helped us as board members, those who purchased tickets in our first show we ever did at the Bradenton Women's Club, Yes, the pictures are going to be much more interesting than I am. Thank you, Mr. Aldrich, who put this together for us. It's been exciting where we have come from. For those of you who might have just moved to the community, you might only know this building since you've been a member here, but we only moved here 10 years ago, almost 11 in March. It was really a true community feat to get this building done. If I was in church, I would ask for an amen. So, as some of you will say, it was a labor of love. We had a big idea of really what did our community need in regards to a performing arts center. What did we need as a place to gather outside of just some of the traditional smaller places that people were meeting? And how could we create, through the cultural fabric of our community, a place where people wanted to go, see live entertainment, not just theater. Hopefully you've come and you've seen a number of our concerts that we're doing, comedians who have come in, different types of organizations, due to the great generosity of Bradenton Kiwanis, who really took a risk on us during a time that when we built this building, we weren't quite sure if the leadership at that time was going to be able to go from a building that had 238 seats to a facility that had 2 theaters, a ballroom, and operated fully 12 months out of the year. And I am so proud to say that we are blowing our expectations out of the water in regards to how this building is meeting the needs of our community. You come every Tuesday and meet in this room, but are you aware that on other days of the month, we now have the Tiger Bay meeting here, right here in this space. We're meeting now, we have the Attorneys Association, the Bar Association is now meeting here. We also are offering a number of different classes that are meeting here, both for children as well as adults. I love that in this room alone on Wednesdays from 11 to 1, you can come in and see individuals 55 years and over who are learning just different aspects of live theater from a space they never thought they would. So that means that they've been in the audience forever, but they've always had this itch of, I wonder if I could do that. And so we're teaching them ways to get involved in the theater. Maybe it's through improv, which if any of you guys are in sales and have an opportunity to take an improv class, I highly encourage it. It will help you be able to break ice. But we're doing that with a generation now who's giving back to our community because now they've become our ambassadors. When I started with the organization almost 19 years ago now, we used to have a troupe, we called them theater rats. And they were individuals from 9 years old to 15 who would be able to get out during the day when they were in school and go out and entertain for organizations like this, or when we would go speak to Rotary. If there was a weekend, festival, they would go out. It's becoming more and more difficult for us to be able to just pull young people out of school. So instead, what we do is our dramature group, that's our senior theater troupe, 55 and over, are now those ambassadors who are going out, and they are the ones who are now engaging people outside of our audience. One of the other reasons why we started Dramature is that we're doing more and more research collectively in the industry, and we're finding that getting involved in musical theater and music specifically helps our aging population cope better with memory loss. When we're teaching them dance steps, it's helping with muscle memory. Also, it is helping, especially coming out of the pandemic, getting people back to socializations where they are meeting people face to face. Our community, you may be unaware, is a lot of people have gotten into the rut, who have just gotten into a cycle where sitting at home has become comfortable, but in some ways too comfortable, and it's affecting their mental health. So if you are 55 or over, and have a Wednesday free, I encourage you to come out tomorrow, next week, and just for an hour and a half of your time, learn about putting on a show. There's no memorization, so that you can enjoy doing some of our little skits and cabarets. Now, how many of you actually got to see our penguin performance? Okay? So, that is coming back with a vengeance again this year. Again, a lot of people have always thought that the goal or the mission of us as an organization is to entertain. And if you asked us what our question zero is, it's actually to gather people through the art of entertainment, to gather people through educating them on the arts. And what we're doing with the Penguin Project is gathering individuals who really don't have access to stage. It's about the process they go through during the 3 months of rehearsals to put on the show. Learning how to interact with each other, learning how to lean on somebody who may not be a family member to be able to put on a show. Learning to trust someone who kind of looks like you, but you've never known before. That's important skill sets for our young education aspect of theater. We also know that theater education for our young people is becoming more and more important. So to share with you a little bit of the trend nationally, there is not a day now that we don't pick up the Wall Street Journal or the New York Times, and there's not an article in there in regards to how is the art of entertaining people just declining in our nation. Theaters are closing that have been in existence for over 100 years. Runs on Broadway, which normally were 3 or 4 months, now close in 3 weeks. The national average compared to pre-COVID, attendance for live entertainment is down in between, for season subscribers, down in between 20 and 35%. Those are huge hits to the industry. So we know here at our organization, we're trying to combat that by diversifying some of what we do, making sure we're presenting a lot more things that hit your funny bone, because we know people want to be entertained, and we're also really evaluating how we can get more involved with young people now. We feel as though if we constantly just try to reach out to new audiences, we'll always be trying to reach out to new audiences. So while we do that simultaneously, we're adding a lot to our repertoire in regards to the classes we're going to be offering and some of the programs where we're going to try to get more families here collectively to come in and enjoy live theater so that they actually start building new habits as family, which will be easier when they get out. Yeah, these are great. Mac, do you have all 75 years going? Okay. So some of the things I want to share with you, you might have heard on the street. We want to make sure that Kiwanis knows firsthand. You know, last year we were so happy that we were finally able to negotiate with Manatee County government the sale of the GTE building. It's the old Peninsula building. We were excited. We have money in the bank to renovate that facility so that we could start hitting the ground running to be able to increase the number of classes we offer both during the day and in the evenings for young people as well as adults. Everybody knows that, you know, the parking garage downtown connected to the county government building isn't in the best of shape. So we are working with the county to make sure that we can transfer that building back to them. We know our board has had lots of conversations about it. We've talked to a number of our donors. We know that's what's best for our community, the need for that building. The good news is we're hoping to find out this week. We have been talking with a generous donor that they're willing to, because we're willing to relocate, they're willing to donate us a piece of property to build the building from the ground up for our conservatory and for our classes. So hopefully next week we'll have some great news about that. Talking about the next 75 years, you know, we've come a long way. When we originally started, they used to do 3 to 4 shows a year. They moved into the old Riverfront building in 1953, and we were there until 2013. Now we're operating, like I said, 12 months out of the year. June and July are our family and our children's focus. 2 weeks, every 2 weeks, we rotate them. We're educating individuals from 7 to 17 how to be a part of a cast, how to put on a show. They learn every aspect of the theater. With that, we know we may not have the next Denzel Washington on stage, but what we're hoping is that they are really learning skills that will make them better students. I can share this one story. It's a dear friend of mine and a past president of ours, but Christy Cardello. I love the fact that she sent her son, Dominic, to our camp. Okay? It was a stretch for her. I said, come on, please, please, let me mold him in our camp. Okay? He was one of those, he was all boy. All right? So Dominic got into our camp, and man, did he flourish. Second year, okay, now he's got, you know, a leading role in this. The third year, he helped us as a student teacher in his middle school years. I remember him coming to my class, to my office, and then telling me how rough it was because the younger boys just wouldn't listen to the teacher and was totally disrupt. Right? And what I was able to say is, I said, Dominic, now you know how your teacher feels sometimes at school. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I go, well, when you're in your classroom, you're all part of the same cast. And just depending on that one student who's holding up the director, it affects everybody else getting ready to finish the show. And what a difference that has made. And what I love is when he comes back to visit, we've got a young man who's playing football on the front line who still thinks musical theater is cool and wants to actually participate and see that. Those are the stories that we love to share about what's making a difference in our individual lives. It goes beyond that. It's not just about those people on stage. It's about the people who help. It's about the people who volunteer. People ask me, why do I love my job? Because I love seeing how this organization and this facility and the partnerships we've been able to create inspire and change people's lives. You who have been around would have recalled last year we did an exhibit downstairs in the lobby, and it was called Why? And they were little puzzle pieces that fit together that we asked people just to say, why do you act? Why do you volunteer? Why do you donate? I will never forget the one that said, because it saved my life. It was an individual battling depression who her doctor told her that she needed to get out and do something. So she just decided to volunteer. That volunteering has turned into more than just once a month. She's a staple here. She's now an advocate. She's now an ambassador, and she's willing to share her story, that it wasn't just about passing out a program as an usher, but it was about feeling a part of community. The other exciting stuff that we have going on in the up and coming years is most of you have been used to season subscriptions. And what they have included was our main stage musicals. Well, next year, you're going to be able to buy a family pass. And so that will include 5 shows specifically set aside for families at a very cost-effective price. And then we're also going to attempt to do our first concert series. You know, you may not know unless you get our newsletter, but December 30th, for instance, John Ellison, the name may not mean anything to you, but the song Some Kind of Wonderful He's the original artist. He wrote the song. He just released a comeback second national album. His grandkids perform here at this theater. He and his entire big band are coming on December 30th for a matinee and evening performance to help us raise funds for scholarships for kids. We're doing a Jimmy Buffett tribute in January. We are really stretching ourselves beyond what a lot of people have always gotten used to in regards to our organization. So some of the nitty-gritty. Also with our 75th year celebration, we are launching our 75 campaign for endowment. You all know, who have been with Kiwanis a long time, can remember the maintenance and capital upkeep with the old facility that we had as members on 14th Street. We just now started preparing a rolling 10-year capital budget for this facility. We were in a meeting and we realized 8 years from now, we know we're going to have to replace our roof and one of our chillers. So we know that we'll need $320,000 above our operating costs just for those two items. So our board of directors and a number of volunteers who are on a number of committees are really committed to making sure that we're being prudent with not only our facility, but our outlook and how we're going to fund that. So for our 75 campaign, we want to have fun. We want to make sure that we're giving everybody and anybody an opportunity to participate. So we're asking for gifts in 75s. $7.50, $75, $750, $750,000, whatever it may be. Okay? And so, because we know a foundation of $7.5 million with 4% will spin off enough every single year to take care of all of the maintenance, so that operations will constantly be able to focus on what is necessary to grow the organization from its programs, driving mission, and that the endowment will help the organization stay as beautiful today as it will be 50 years from now. You know, it has been a joy the last 17 years. People ask me, you know, what gets me through? One, it's the smiles. Two, I really love the collaborations and the partnerships we've been able to create. You know, they say, what is it? Not perjury. It's, what is it when you copy somebody's stuff? Imitation. Yes, it is the best, yes, is the best form of flattery. So the nearest dearest program, you know, I love Penguin, but the nearest dearest program we have here for me is our Action Through Acting. Action Through Acting, for some, is just coming to see a show. For me, it's the partnerships we create with some of the shows that we do, most often in our small space. This year, we're doing one on our main stage. So I'll give you an example. We're doing the show Parade. Okay? It's really deep. It's inspiring. We are partnering with the Jewish Federation. They're already going to start running articles every month in their newspaper following the process, not only of this show, but of the real life story of the man the show was written about. Then, during the performance, the Jewish Federation will be here every evening sharing some of the resources that they have for our community. You know, biggest myth is the Jewish Federation is not just for Jewish people. And we want to, as a conduit for our community, to learn more about aspects of our community they don't know. You know, it started years ago when we had a show called Bark, and it was the life of some little animals. But we were able to share with our audiences who loved animals a lot more about the Humane Society and what they provide our community than anybody ever thought or knew existed. That's why we do Action Through Acting. You can get your tickets for Parade, and if you're interested, on the 2 Sundays that it's running, at the end of it, they're actually going to be facilitating a live talkback. Not only with people from the Jewish Federation, but with the actors. so that our audience members can understand how do you get into the mindset of someone who's being accused of something they didn't do, and then in the end actually loses their life over it. So those things are important. We want you to come and not only be entertained most of the time, but when you come and see our action through acting, we really want you to learn. We want you to get stirred up in that belly and make sure that you're leaving there with a sense of, okay, what can I do maybe a little differently? Have a little bit more empathy. How can I make a difference? That's what we're about, is making sure that we're not just entertaining you, but we're inspiring you to make change. Little few things that you might not know about us. So we are small but mighty. We only have, still to this day, 11 staff members, and 3 of them are part-time. A lot of the people that you interact with when you buy tickets, they're all volunteers. They're regulars, but they're volunteers. The ones who work alongside of us for this building are volunteers. So they truly are the lifeblood of who we are and what we do. And we invite them in all capacities, like you heard about the ushers or the actors, but we also have those in the costume shop. Some of you guys are here today. You know, box office, painters, carpenters. We love our carpenters. So do the wives who no longer have the mess at home, and they're in our scene shop. Another myth about our organization that people don't realize is that we only do amateur theater. So there's a number of professionals who come through. All of our actors and our manatee players and in our dramature performances, all of those actors are volunteers, okay? Now, some of them may be professionals. They just don't get paid when they come to perform for us, all right? But they are all supported by professionals. So although we only have 11 staff members a year, last year we sent out over 71 exactly, 1099s individually to professionals. All of our scenic designers, our lighting designers, our musicians in the orchestra pit, our artistic directors are all professionals that we've actually gone out and searched to make sure that we're providing the best level of excellence in each one of not only our performances. Sure, I got 2 minutes? Okay. So, all right. So also making sure that those who are educated are being educated by professionals in the field. That's important to us, so that they're learning the best that they can. One thing for those in the audience who want to know and remember, debt to date on our building, including across the street, officially is now under $5 million. It's 4.9, so we're really excited about that. It keeps going down. And as a Kiwanian, I want to thank my fellow Kiwanians who entrusted us enough to partner together. The beginning of it, there was some don't know. Everything was new for you guys and for us. And I'm honored to be a Kiwanian, and I'm thankful to be the chief cheerleader here at Manatee Performing Arts Center. So thank you. So, any questions? Yes?
In 2020, just before you had to close down, you did Damn Yankees, and you invited people from the community to do the opening act or the opening song. Who was the best?
If Mary Ann left, I would say you. Dave.
Dave, there's a lot of new faces in the room since we moved in here 10 years ago. Why don't you go through a little bit of that, how all that came about?
Okay, so the question was for the camera because I listened to Mr. Clapsaddle. Just to give a little bit of how did the partnership start between us and Bradenton Kiwanis. Actually, it started with Dr. Murphy. And I know John Vita was on that team, and Dr. Tinsworth was on that team. Sarasota had just done something similar where they had got a group of nonprofits together to share space so that it reduced overhead for everyone. That's really where the thought started. And then when Kiwanis really, we were going through as members, we didn't want to be hall owners anymore, but we wanted to truly be sensitive to where we relocated to, because we wanted to make sure we were staying downtown in the core. So Kiwanis came alongside of us and made a generous gift to help us actually build out the second floor. The first floor was open and operating. And it wasn't even 30 days after that we decided to start tearing off the roof on this part of the building and have the club come alongside of us and built out not only this, the catering kitchen, and part of their funding actually went into the costume shop as well. And so a labor of love, I believe, both of the organization and of the club. So, yes.
Place emphasis on partnering with people with different organizations, for example, IMG. I know that they have an extensive tennis facility over there that they can do things with, and in particular the state of the Florida State College or University there. The partnerships with maybe SAT, pre-SAT, things like that, because our mission is to deal with young people and do things to help them. And then the other thing is like there are certain sports programs that are affordable, but they're expensive. For example, tennis in particular, and golf in particular. And do you identify people and partner with so they can be something that can be affordable for people that may not be able to do that?
Yes, so the question was in regards to some of the other activities available to our young people in the community can get very expensive. I'm proud to say that anyone who wants to come to any of our camps, there's a scholarship available, funded or not funded by a donor. We've never turned away any individual, young person, even some of our adults who want to be in our dramaturg if they have costs associated with that. Cost will never be a factor. Well, I'm the chief cheerleader, and I believe as the organization moves forward. We want to make sure that everybody has access to the arts, and so that's hugely important to us. In regards to our partnerships, we have a real solid plan for growing education and doing more with other organizations that will happen once we have more space. No one ever thought that we would outgrow this space in 10 years. But for instance, tonight, there are 4 rehearsals going on. One on that side of the room, one on stage in the main house, one in the black box, and one in the lobby. So we are back to looking for space again, because I can't have a cast starting this Thursday when we have a show opening. You can't have a cast, you know, practicing in the lobby for a show while people are coming in to see their show. But it's a great problem to have, and you'll see a lot of education grow in regards to programming with the new building. Mr. Dave.
As someone who was involved in the process of transitioning to here, I want to say that were it not for you, the players would have never completed this building.
Oh.
That's right.
Thanks, Mr. Dave. No. No, but I'll turn it over to Neil. Thank you, Mr. Dave.
You don't want that, do you? Thank you very much, Janene. I'm speaking for myself, not for anyone else here, that this is the best sponsor there is in Bradenton Kiwanis. You want one?
I have one, thank you.
She has 3. Here, let's act like we're giving it away. Let's act like we're giving it away.
One more. There we go.
Yeah.
No, you won't. You'll come up afterwards and take one when no one's here. All right, next week we also will have someone from the club, Carol Whitmore, and Steve Wilson will be presenting on Help to Home? And Hope Village. So we hope to see you all there. And then on the 26th, we're going to try and do, hopefully I'll have a bunch of awards and recognitions. So we're going to be transitioning to a new board on the 26th. So we hope to have a celebratory day on the 26th. So everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week. We are adjourned.